From the Dogfish Head Brewery, Sam Calagione.
It's been a long, strange, but wonderful trip.
From the Boston Beer Company, Jim Cook. Welcome back to the Friday Beer Buzz, Jim.
Well, it's nice to be back.
They're normally from Aberdeenshire in Scotland. From Brewdog, we have James Watt and Martin Dickey. Welcome to the show, guys.
Biggest mission today is just to make other people as passionate about your state's craft beers as we are.
And now, the three-time winner of the Pennsylvania Association of Broadcasters Excellence in Broadcasting Award, the recipient of 2 Pennsylvania Associated Press Broadcasters Association Awards for Excellence, promoting and advancing the craft and microbrew culture in Northeast PA. This is another edition of
the Friday Beer Buzz. All right, it is the Friday Beer Buzz. On the new morning news, Nancy and Jason. Nancy's off today, and but we still have the Beer Buzz here. Brian Hughes filling in.
Goodness.
Friday Beer Buzz, of course, powered by Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar in Exeter. Sabatini's with the area's greatest selection of rare, craft, and imported beers, growlers and crowlers, and 37 rotating drafts at Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar, Wyoming Avenue in Exeter. Lindo is here from Sabatini's. Lindo, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, we need Lindo's microphone on, please. Let's try that again.
Good morning.
There he is. And we got Bill from mybeerbuzz.com. Bill, good morning.
Hey, happy Friday. Hey, Jason, how does a skeleton order a beer in a bar?
How does a skeleton order beer in a bar? Oh, someone put this on my Facebook. It's great. How does a skeleton order a beer in a bar?
He says, bartender, I'll have 1 pint of beer and a mop.
Dad jokes.
Perfect.
Well done. Well played. Like I said, Brian is in for Nancy today. I saw it and I thought about it. It's such a great visual because you're like, yeah, I love that kind of. All right, so what do you got in beer news today?
So we have a lot of beer news today, but we'll condense it down to just 4 pieces of news. Coming first, one of my favorite beers. People always ask me, what is my favorite beer? And this is probably my most common answer. If I have to pick just one, it would be Stone's Enjoy By. And they are coming out with Enjoy By 10/31/21, which is their Halloween beer. It'll be a hazy IPA, and they all hit 9.4% ABV. So that's maybe why I hesitate a little bit when I say that it's my favorite right now, because it is a extremely strong beer. If you're not familiar with this series of beer, they labeled the beer with a date on it. And in this example, it is Enjoy By 10/31/21. And that is the date by which you should consume that beer, because it is an IPA and you want to drink IPAs fresh because of the hop content. And so they've gone out of their way to make sure you're drinking this beer the way the brewer intended for it to taste. So that's one of my favorites. That one's coming out for Halloween. It'll be out probably 3 or 4 weeks before Halloween. Bell's Brewery is doing a beer that is part of their Celebration series. And the beer is called Seneca Village. And the Celebration series is a series of beers brewed by the staff at Bell's Brewery. And this is the 6th iteration of this series. And Seneca Village celebrates the Black and African American employees at Bell's. And as such, it is a black IPA that comes in at 6.19%, which is very specific. And the 19 is there to represent that it is the 19th century village of the same name, Seneca Village. So that'll be an interesting beer. I think that is a brewery-only release. So unless you're in Comstock, Michigan, you may have trouble getting that beer. Samuel Adams is doing something that I think is kind of interesting. Samuel Adams does an Oktoberfest beer. And it always stands out for me because they spell it with a C, Octoberfest, instead of a K, which is how most breweries spell their Oktoberfest beer. But anyway, the Sam Adams Oktoberfest is going to be called Oktoberfest 60. And that represents the fact that the beer will be aged for 60 days in Jack Daniel's rye-soaked oak barrels, or whiskey barrels. So Sam and Jack are getting together for Oktoberfest this year. That beer hits a big, Oktoberfest beers are usually much stronger than a traditional lager. That one hits a big 10.2% ABV. Yeah, it's a big boy. and it'll be packaged in some odd 16.9 ounce bottles. And 16.9 are usually done for barrel aged or bottle conditioned beers where there's actually yeast in the beer. So it sort of signifies that it's a special beer, and I think they're doing that to make it stand out from the 12 ounce cans of regular Oktoberfest.
So one of those,
So that
I
was
mean, for a lightweight, like, I don't know, for example, I can say me. That probably works.
Yeah.
Lindo's laughing. Would you agree with that, Lindo?
It'll get the job done for you.
Yeah.
You always try training for that kind of heavy lifting, though.
Yeah, I don't have that kind of tolerance. So what would one do to me?
3 Miller Lights.
Really?
Pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'd be dangerous. 3?
Yeah,
Like anyone can, like any human being can drink 3 beers.
You mean more dangerous?
Yeah, sorry, Bill. Yeah, that's a very powerful beer. I was just very curious about that. But you said you had a final pitch 4, so we have 1, 2. This is the 4th one coming up. 4
Yeah,
bits of
there
beer.
is a 4th one, and I will say, 10% beer is strong, especially if you're drinking 16.9 ounces of it by yourself. Same thing with Stone. Stone comes in a 22-ounce bottle sometimes, 9.4% ABV in a 22-ounce bottle.
Right.
I always tell people, share them. Share them with somebody. Don't be the hero. Don't try to drink the whole thing.
Don't be a bar ski, is what they say.
Yeah, it's like drinking 3 or 4 or 5% ABV beer.
Wow. Okay.
Our final beer news comes to us from Goose Island in Chicago, Illinois. They're coming out with a beer that I couldn't resist the name. The beer is called Flamingo, and it will be a tropical IPA brewed with mango, and it has a flamingo on the label. I thought that was a cute play on words. It uses Citra, Mosaic, and Simcoe Cryo, which we haven't talked about a lot about Cryo. Cryo are frozen hops, essentially. That's the easiest way to boil it down. And they come in a little bit more resinous. So anytime you see Cryo on something, it's usually a little bit stickier. And that beer will hit 7.2% ABV, and it will be packaged in 16-ounce cans. And I think we will see that one in widespread distribution.
And it seems like everything with mango is everything right now. That, and I keep hearing you guys bring up the Jack Daniel's barrels a lot. Is that something Linda, is that something you've seen being pitched to you? Like, oh, look, we got these Jack Daniel barrels. That's something that's been going on for a while?
Whiskey barrels are very popular. Not necessarily Jack Daniel's, but you see a lot of breweries going for some of the better known bourbon barrels, Willet or.
Is it a trend
Buffalo
though?
Trace.
Is this kind of like something that just recently started and everyone's doing it?
I'd say it's not a trend anymore.
No.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah,
common.
no, I think Goose Island was actually one of the first ones to do it with this Bourbon County stout that they produce every year. That's where it began, but no, other breweries have been aging for a long time. There's a beer called Curio that is whiskey barrel aged from Allagash. That's one of my favorites.
Right.
But no, we're even seeing. I think we mentioned it in one of our breaking news pieces in the last couple of months. There will be a barrel aged seltzer coming from Goose Island
Right.
as well. So
I think so.
it's definitely not a new trend. I think if anywhere where it's getting pushed now is from a trend standpoint, there are people aging things in gin barrels and Madeira barrels and port wine barrels and rum barrels. But even that's not terribly new.
Gotcha. For all the beer news that maybe you missed or want to catch up on, it's your Facebook page. It's mybeerbuzz.com. I think you can just put in mybeerbuzz.com. Bill, thank you. And I'm not saying goodbye here. I just want to check in with Lindo to see what's going on at Sabatini's Pizza, Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar in Exeter. Did any changes happen with how you run your business? I saw some of this news coming out. I was worried. I should.
Well, I mean, what happened this week was the state canceled our privileges to sell cocktails to go and have outdoor seating. That besides our patio, we were able to do it in the parking lot. All of the pandemic favors they gave to the restaurants they took away this week. So
Now the governor is saying he's going to veto that. I've heard him say he's going to do that. This angered me so much, and I don't see any outrage by many people.
Well, a lot of people didn't really know that happened yet. It was kind of just we got an email at 9:00 at night from the LCB saying goodbye to all to those.
Was there
benefits that we had.
I mean, you don't have to share this, but I would say this. I talked to someone who said it's ridiculous. All we're doing is trying to comply, and we invested in making some of these changes.
Yeah, I mean, just in tables and umbrellas, and I mean, people that
And now it's like, can't use it.
rented tents for the summer, so they go ahead and rent a tent for the whole summer from a tent company, and they're in a contract, and then all of a sudden they get their legs taken out on a Monday night with no notice.
Looks like the ideal time to have this is in the summertime. I mean, I could see if they wanted to drop it in the middle of winter.
Or give you, how about this? How about, let's, I don't know, 90 days notice?
They also worded it in the email. They worded it that due to the vote that just happened, the powers to be taken away. They're acting on it. So that's basically what just happened. But hey, it is what it is. We're ready for outdoor seating on our patio. We're doing what we have to do every day. Just wake up and get it done.
Just walking through. It's like that. I've seen it I feel like restaurants and bars right now, and this is not your opinion, I just want to say, so the LCB should stay away. I'm just saying, it seems like that scene in every prison movie where the new guy walks through and everyone punches him. Like trying to run a business, it feels like you're constantly getting hit.
The LCB's been very good. They've been trying to filter through this without damaging the restaurants. And
I'm sorry, not them. The legislation.
I know, but the LCB's been responding to the legislation very nicely. So let's not prod them.
No, that's what I'm saying. That was 100% me. That was 100% me. I, as a consumer, I'm like, oh, okay. Sorry. I hope I made that clear.
It's been good. I mean, just waking up to some of these emails or reading these emails it's good for the beer business because we drink more. But
how are profits? Just from my intake?
Not because you necessarily want to, it's because you have to, dealing with the news.
We have to. Thank you for sharing. I'm sorry if I put you in a weird spot.
Nah, it's fine.
I said that. It was all 100% me. That's why I prefaced it the way I did. But what is this beer of the week? Is this a beer? It doesn't taste to me like a beer.
It's technically still a beer.
What is this? Today's featured beer?
So our beer today has multiple pronunciations, so depending upon who you believe, I'm going to go with the one I believe. The brewery is called Schöfferhofer, or Schöfferhofer, or Schöfferhofer, and the beer is called...
Or Schöfferhofer.
The reason... Yeah.
It's easy for you to say.
Those two little... It's the umlauts. The umlauts over the O screw you up. But it was started by Peter Schöffer, who, believe it or not, was born in 1425. So this brewery has been around a long time. And he was actually a printer and got involved in taking over part of another brewery. It's a German brewery, if you didn't guess that from the umlaut and the name. And the beer is called Passion Fruit. And the reason I think, Jason, that you're not tasting necessarily a traditional beer, that this is based on a Hefeweizen. And a Hefeweizen is a traditional German wheat-based beer. So the malt is mostly wheat malt rather than barley malt. And to that, they use a fruit juice insertion called, they use passion fruit as a fruit juice insertion in this. And so it's like 50% Hefe and 50% passion fruit juice to make up that beer. So they do the same thing with a pomegranate version of this, and they do the same thing with the grapefruit version of this.
I think I've tasted a little bit of grapefruit in that, actually.
Is there? I always pick up grapefruit. I don't pick it up in this one, though. Interesting.
And there's another reason, Jason, that this doesn't taste like a traditional beer to you. And it is just the opposite of what we were just talking about with 3 or 4 Miller Lights. Can you guess what that might be?
It's got to be low alcohol content.
Bingo. So this bad boy, and I use that term very loosely, this bad boy is 2.5% alcohol. So
and a standard beer is what, 3 or 4?
Yeah.
A standard beer, like middle of the road, traditional light lager that people are most familiar with, are usually 4.2, 4%-ish. Something like Budweiser's 5%, just to refer to something people are familiar with. I think a traditional craft beer, many of those are all over the place, but there are a lot of those that are 5 or 6%. So this is about half what traditional beer is.
This is as close to a wine cooler type of taste that I've ever tasted from a beer.
Pretty much.
With the exception, there was a cherry thing you brought in a few weeks back, and that was even more. But
that's what I was thinking too.
I mean, I brought this in basically because it's a shandy or a rattler. Right. I mean, it's beer soda mix with fruit. Very popular in the summer. Locally, SBC, all their shandies we do very well with, but for a different flavor, the Schöfferhofer passion fruit, brand new to the country, and we've been doing well with it, so I wanted to try it.
Very tasty.
What do you guys have going on at Sabatini's for Father's Day weekend? Anything big or just business as usual?
We're probably going to sell some pizza and beer.
Yeah. Anything new on
And
tap?
the German tradition here of Radler translates to rider, and the story is that a bunch of cyclists came into a bar. The bartender didn't have enough beer to go around, so they cut it with lemonade to make a Radler, or in the States we call it a shandy, and that way he had enough beer to go around, and the cyclists didn't go out of there so drunk they couldn't ride their bicycle. So that's sort of the German tradition of this style of beer.
Gotcha. Hey, listen, Nancy will be back next week, and it's always a pleasure having you guys on. And somehow I found myself kind of anchoring this thing. And as a beer novice, thank you for teaching me. I still don't feel like I've learned enough to say I'm a connoisseur, but I'm definitely curious.
You're going to lose novice pretty soon, though. You're starting to understand it a little better.
I am, and I thank you for acknowledging that, even if you're just saying it to be nice. But hey, Bill, have yourself a great weekend. We'll talk again
Happy
next
Father's
week.
Day and have a good weekend.
Hey, thank you. And then, Lindo, is there anything else we need to know about what's going on at Sabatini's?
One really nice thing that just happened to us yesterday is we did get a really nice shipment of Tired Hands beer. So if anybody knows anybody that wants Tired Hands for Father's Day, fantastic gift idea.
All right. And, so it's the Friday Beer Buzz powered by Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar in Exeter. Again, the area's greatest selection of rare, craft, and imported beers, growlers, and 37 rotating drafts. It's a lot. Wow. Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar in Wyoming Avenue in Exeter. This is the Friday Beer Buzz, bringing good beer and good people together.